Hello again, baseball fans, and welcome back to Ducks on the Pod. This is episode number 16. Things are getting crazy. It is the last week before the trade deadline hits. That'll be on Monday at, I believe it's 4 p.m. Could be wrong on that. But it's coming up quick. Rumors are flying all around, and basically anything that's not drilled to the floor is rumored to be headed out of town. It's a very hectic time for the players. Sure, you can imagine what it must be like coming to work every day, hearing that it might be your last day at work, at least at that office, before they transfer you out. Has to be crazy for them. It's got to be very frantic for the general managers and presidents who are trying to get all these deals done. So I'm going to take a step back. It's hard to speculate without trying to sound like the smartest guy in the room, and then you end up sounding like the dumbest guy in the room anyway, because you just don't know what's going to happen when it comes down to trade deadline time. We've seen it before in past years with unexpected moves. We've already seen it a few times here in this trade season. So I'm going to take it light this week and just do some other topics that don't really apply too much to the baseball that's being played right now, but I promise we'll get right back into it next week. Once all the trades have been made, we know who's going to be where, and we can really get ready for the division races to start winding down here. It is time to start thinking about who's going to be around come October. But in the meantime, why don't we get episode number 16 underway? Let's go, Ham. It's going to be a busy August full of baseball for me. The other day, I went on Tigers.com just to check out the schedule and see who they had on the calendar for the upcoming month. And it turns out, I was trying to check out which games I might want to go to. Turns out the Tigers brought back this promotion that I got a couple of times last year. For the whole month, they'll send you a ticket each day to your phone. And basically, it's like a monthly pass. You get a ticket to each home game for the month. And it's a bargain of a deal. This month, the Tigers are giving me tickets to 11 home games in August, all 11 home games for $55. An absolute steal. Even after $7 of fees through buying them on the team website, it's still highway robbery. If you ask me, just look at who is on the schedule this month for the Tigers at Comerica Park. They've got the Pirates for 2. I always try to come and see any National League team that comes into town for at least one game, just because I have seen a majority of American League baseball, and that comes with seeing a lot of the American League teams. So I do like to go see other teams when they are in town, just to break it up, just for a change of pace. And the Pirates are a pretty cool bunch. I do like a lot of their players. Can't wait to see them while they're in town. The weekend set with the Twins, they're actually an exciting club to watch this season, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Maybe the Tigers can push the Twins up closer to the Tribe here in the AL Central standings. The Los Angeles Dodgers are here on my birthday weekend, and I'm still holding out hope that Kershaw will start one of those games. He just went down with injury last week, and the prognosis said 4 to 6 weeks. If he comes back at the very earliest, I think he could get one of those games. I'm still hoping. I don't expect it to happen at this point. I've already missed him twice in my life. The Dodgers have been in Detroit, and I've not gotten to see him pitch. So it'll be disappointing to have the Dodgers here again and again miss Kershaw, but there's still a little bit of hope. And then the Yankees visit for 3 at the end of the month. You have to see them at this point. They've got the Baby Bombers and all the excitement that's going on in New York right now. They're looking at a run at an AL East crown. But they've got the Red Sox in the way, and these are games against the Tigers that all of these visiting teams will think that they can come in and win. I've given up on the Tigers, so at this point, I'm going to see the visiting teams. The Pirates, Twins, Dodgers, and Yankees are the ones that made me buy this deal, not the Tigers at all. Really, the unfortunate thing is that I do have to see the Tigers play in all of these games. Detroit almost always wraps up It's midweek series with afternoon games, so I'll have to miss one against the Pirates and one against the Yanks on those getaway days. But still, 9 games for $62 comes to just under 7 per game, and I simply cannot pass that up. Not with the teams that are coming to town. Yeah, looking forward to it. Hopefully the Tigers can at least entertain me, because if not, I'll just be there in my visiting team gear with people giving me hell. Because I do have a couple of friends who don't understand this either. Because we went to the game the other night against the Royals, and I wore my Royals jersey, but I had my Tigers hat on. It's not that I don't like the Tigers. It's just that I don't like what they're doing right now. And my own personal protest is to wear the other team's gear. A lot of people just don't show up. I still like to go to the games, but I'll just root for the other team. That's my way of dealing with it. Some people have given me a lot of flack for it, but hey, they're not the one with a baseball podcast, are they? So, if you're at Comerica Park in August, chances are I'm going to be there as well, so let me know. I don't really remember what brought this up, but I was thinking today, and I might want to live in a minor league city as opposed to a major league city, at least for a couple years, to see what it's like. Because my entire life spent about 20 minutes away from Comerica Park. So it was pretty easy to get to a game. But when you go to major league games, there are certain things that you know you're going to have to run into, right? Parking is going to be a hassle. There's going to be a ton of people there. And it's just annoying at some point. Sometimes you just want to go to a game and just watch the game and not deal with everything else that's going on around it. And I think it might be easier to do that on a minor league level. I could be wrong, and I really would love if anyone who's from a minor league city could shed some light on what life is like. If you live just outside of, whatever city it may be that has a minor league club, how has your experience been growing up and knowing that, it might not be the highest level, but the prices are significantly lower. As I said, there are fewer people there that are just in your way, so you don't have to wait as long in line for the concession stand, for the bathroom. It doesn't take nearly as long, I wouldn't think, to get home after with all the traffic jams. So, I would like to hear from people who are from minor league cities. I'd like to know what your experience has been like. Because as I think about it, it would be cool to live 15, 20 minutes outside of insert minor league city here. You could establish a bond with whatever team that your hometown team is affiliated with. If it's AA, AAA, whatever it is, you know that you're watching a very important part of this guy's career. Whether he's a young top prospect that's coming up trying to make a name for himself and prove that he belongs and work his way to the majors, or a guy who's already gotten a shot at the majors and maybe he's just trying to hang around and collect a paycheck at this point because this is his career. It's always been what he's done. Either way it goes, I think there's just as much passion and pride on the minor league level, probably even more. Because you think about it, not a lot of these guys are making as much money. So there has to be something else that's keeping them there. I think a lot of people overlook that. And it would be interesting for me, at least, just to get a look at baseball on a smaller scale. Because as I said, I like to go to the games and just watch what happens. I know there are a lot of sideshow things that go on at minor league games in between innings to draw people there, but they're easier to tune out, I would think, because it's so blatant that they're doing this to get your attention. It's not like the major league ballpark where you're just looking around. You can't hardly focus on the game because there's so much going on. So I like the idea of it all being simplified on a smaller scale. But yeah, that was just the random thing that I was thinking about at work today. Figured I'd come on to the show and talk about it. because it is interesting to me, at least, the differences, the pros, the cons. Let me know your experience, your thoughts, your opinion, and we can keep this dialogue going, the differences between minor league life and major league life. In the end, it's all baseball, right? We are long overdue on this show for an update on my fantasy team. And a big reason for that is, well, Country Strong ain't doing that hot. We do have Paul Goldschmidt. He's hitting the hell out of the ball. No complaints there. But other than that, my team has just kind of been struggling. Kemp got off to a good start. Jed Jerko was way better than I could have expected. He's since kind of cooled off. A.J. Pollock was out for a long time with injury. Eduardo Nunez has been in and out of the lineup, and he actually just got traded. Going to have to find a replacement for him. The way it works, if you remember, this is an NL-only league. So if a guy gets dealt to the American League, you get first dibs on whoever came back to that team in return. So Nunez gets traded for 2 pitching prospects. Unfortunately, they're young guys that are a few years away from major league action. So I'm not going to claim either one of them. I'm just out of roster spot. I need to find a guy to fill in for Nunez. The biggest revelation, I think, I know, there's no thinking about it. Scooter Gennett has been incredible. For my team this season, he has 15 homers, 44 RBI. Those are not his totals for the entire season, just the parts that I've had him for. Wilson Contreras is really stepping it up and starting to swing a hot bat. Ian Happ is a minor league guy that I've actually been able to bring up and watch hit a few homers for me. I really need Jock Peterson to step it up. I need Will Myers to start hitting for a little bit of higher average. He's just got to cut down on the strikeouts. And another big addition that I got to make recently was J.D. Martinez going to the Diamondbacks. Basically, he was traded into the National League, so he was a free agent. Anybody could have claimed him. And Country Strong currently sits 8th out of 10, so 10-9 declined to pick up Martinez, and I was the lucky one who got him. Another guy that I did that with is Sean Doolittle, who came to the Nationals from the A's. He's already picked up 2 saves in just 3 games of work for me. My pitching staff is a bit weird because along with Doolittle, I've got 6 other relievers and just two starters. Those starters are Zach Godley and Seth Lugo, who I just picked up this week. I need some innings. There is a 900 innings pitched limit. You have to hit that number, or I'm really not even sure what happens because nobody's ever missed it. I'm currently at 533 and a third, and we're starting to run out of time here, so I'm thinking about making a trade for a starting pitcher. Some of those relievers that I have, C.J. Edwards is doing an incredible job for the Cubs, striking out a ton of people, 59 and 40 and a third innings. Jim Johnson has been pretty solid. He's blown a few saves for the Braves, but he's been pretty solid otherwise, striking out a lot of guys as well. Bit of a high ERA for a closer, but he's still getting the job done for a team that, frankly, doesn't have any other option, so it's going to have to be him. Hector Neris of the Phillies, he's been up and down. He's struggled a little bit, but he strikes guys out, and he still looks like the Phillies closer of the future, so I like where he's at. Pedro Baez has been pretty quiet. The whip is a little bit higher than I'd like to see it, but the ERA is just too good of a number for me to release him. And then Seung-Hwan Oh, the Cardinals closer, he has really struggled, but kind of like the Braves situation, the Cardinals don't have a clear-cut challenger to O. Rosenthal is there, but he hasn't been able to seize the gig either, so I've got 2 struggling closers, one who is, brand new to his gig in Doolittle, and then another guy, Neris, who's just growing into the role. Really, at this point, I need to figure out who I want to give up for a top-of-the-line starting pitcher. That's all that my team really needs right now just to get to that 900 number. That's what I'm most worried about at this point. I would like to see some more home runs. I am going to be getting Lucas Duda off of waivers, so hopefully he'll help. And, it's a miracle. And I can't thank Scooter Gennett enough for saving Country Strong this season, because without him, I would be in last place, and it really wouldn't even be close. So I'm expecting these guys to pick it up. I know that they can. JD Martinez is going to be huge for me, I think. And hopefully Jock Peterson continues to work out of his funk. Maybe Matt Kemp can start hitting again like he did at the beginning of the season. And Will Myers really just got to cut down on the strikeouts. So a top starting pitcher, like every team in the majors in real baseball, that's the target that I have as well. It's that time of year. The tricky thing about this is there's not a whole lot of prospects to deal. So there aren't those clear buyers and sellers in our fantasy league where it's like, okay, somebody's going to mortgage their future for a run at this year. You don't get that so much. It's a lot of splitting hairs and really doing your homework and trying to figure out which stat categories to attack. It's very involved, and I really need to get better at it, because if not, I'm looking at a second straight finish toward the bottom of the standings, and I just can't have that happen. That's a wrap for episode number 16. Thanks so much for joining me, as always. Thanks for letting me keep it light, too. If you're looking to dive into something baseball-related, check out the show notes. I've got a couple of links to articles on ESPN.com. There's one from Sam Miller about evaluating trades, the danger of it, and why we rush to judgment in trying to figure out who the winners and losers are of these trades. And Buster Olney with a piece about GMs and which ones like to work with each other. It's something that we don't often think about, but it is a major factor when it gets time to trade deadline season and you see the teams that are making deals. So often we're seeing the same teams trade with each other. There's a reason for that. It's just the comfort that they feel with each other. Read all about that. And until next time, remember the 3 keeps of baseball. Keep your glove on the dirt, your bat off your shoulder, and always keep your eye on the ball.
Back, gone.